China says it will allow trading in government bond futures after an 18-year-old ban. That's according to a fact sheet released after the U.S.-China Strategic and Economic Dialogue in Washington over the weekend. During the meetings, the two sides also vowed to restart stalled talks on an investment treaty. To talk more about the dialogue, Sean King, Senior Vice President at Park Strategies, joining us from Hong Kong. Also, Tai Hui from JP Morgan Funds is still with us as our guest. So, Sean, when you look at what came out, were you disappointed?
Well, I don't have many high expectations anyway. I mean, I think the S&ED is kind of meaningless to begin with. I think it's basically there to placate and assuage China's inferiority complex with the outside world. So it's nice that we're restarting the bilateral investment talks, but those could have been done in California between President Xi and Obama last month. It almost seems like they look for things to announce at these to justify the existence when they could have just talked about them on their own.
We talked about this before. I mean, these are exactly two new teams getting to know each other, getting to know one another. Did that relationship between China and U.S. become closer in the process? Did they manage to ease out all the tensions?
Of course not. And, the teams are not really that new because President Xi may be a new president, but basically the party and much of the apparatus around him has been in power for years, and much of Obama's team and White House is still in place. So they're not really new to each other, and there's no way they could have worked out everything this weekend.
Currency was not really a focus point because, we are getting signs the U.S. economy is actually recovering. I mean, there was some talk initially that when the U.S. economy is doing well, obviously the currency doesn't come into focus. Do you think that's back in the back burner for now, or could that rear its ugly head again?
I hope it is, because it's really not our business to be telling China what to do with its own money. China should let the market more impact the value of its currency for its own people's sake so that they have reason to put money in bank accounts and they heightens their consumption power. But we should back off when it comes to China to tell them what to do with its own money.
Sure. The U.S. and Europe have been negotiating an FTA, and of course the U.S. has been pursuing this Trans-Pacific Pact across Asia. Is there any way that we could see any form of similar things or similar discussions between the U.S. and China in the next few years?
No, I can't see it. I mean, China's talking about maybe it would want to join the TPP. I didn't know we invited them to do so. But no, there's just too much. The economies are too different. There's too much political tension. It's just no way it could happen.
And it's a very old topic, but it's probably still worth discussing Snowden. And how does that impact the whole dynamics between U.S. and China, not just on the political front, but also on the economic front?
Not so much now. I mean, it's a real world out there, and Snowden made a lot of claims, many of which I won't even dignify by re-mentioning on air. But countries spy on each other, it happens. And we're talking about trade. We're talking about Chinese hackers getting into Coca-Cola headquarters in Atlanta and stealing trade secrets. I don't think Snowden was talking about anything like that and going the other way.
All right, Sean, we'll have to leave there. Thank you very much for your time.